I'll just discuss a bit on the situation of the weaving industry. Can proceed to the next slide. Um, Based on the information that we got, more or less there are about 494 weaving groups with a weaving population of about 5,000 weavers, spread from Luzon, Visayas, and the Mindanao. And based on estimates from DTI, the yearly revenues is about 110 million pesos. And materials usage, 75% of the weavers still use polyester, while the other 25% use natural-based fibers. So 2008 to 2009, basically, I would call it a period of revival because there was a renewed interest in the cultural identity of among the weaving communities. This was brought about by several Filipino designers, both local and international, highlighting the industry again, and of course, government support from private initiatives to promote the local weaving industry also made a big factor. So the past 10 years, we could say that there was a 21st century renaissance. In the words of Dr. Norma Respicio, there was a big revival. Next, next slide, please. So the pre-pandemic situation, these were the traditional distribution marketing channels. Of course, direct buying from the communities was the main thing, but there were also designers who bought many of the fabrics from them. There were also retail outlets from malls to stores to resorts who also made use of the fabrics. Then let's not forget, of course, the institutional buyers ordered by companies, and of course, schools with their supply requirement. Then, of course, trade fairs, mainly by Manila Fame, Habi, Marte, Artefino, and other platforms. And of course, government-sponsored trade fairs like the Sikat Pinoy was also made also the popularity of indigenous handwoven fabrics more popular. And of course, let's not forget the new generation designers and the social enterprises. Then all of a sudden, we have March 2020 when the pandemic hit us and the new normal came about. So this resulted to many canceled orders. Again, it led to high inventory, stock inventory among the weaving communities due to logistics impairment. And the estimated losses here, actually it's hard to quantify this, but we estimate 60 to 80 in terms of opportunity loss. From the usual 100 million a year, which was already gaining traction, I'd say a lot of losses happened this past 2 years now. So a lot of the weavers and weaving communities resorted to going back to farming and of course look for other sources of income to supplement their livelihood. And for worse, many of the communities right now have halt production. Next slide, please. So of course, mitigation, there were several communities also did their own mitigation steps. Many of these communities made face masks. They made use also of fabrics to come up with their own PPEs. And of course, financial assistance from both local and private sector. There were some initiatives there. And of course, the government support. So right now, if you look at putting things at the current situation, most of the brands right now have set up marketing online platforms and are more active in the social media to promote their products. So this goes through, especially for the weaving communities in far-flung areas, but also the brands, both new and the old ones. And in terms of production, most communities have stopped production or have lowered their capacity. And for many, they're doing their own share of product development with some brands. So that basically gives you an overall idea what's transpiring. So the challenge right now, of course, is how to continue the renewed interest, because it's everyone's responsibility right now to protect the heritage of these weavers. Their source of livelihood, of course, is at stake, and that's why we need support. PFC, of course, will do its part to further enhance their marketing, but we cannot do it alone without the support of the government. Thank you very much.